She gave me her final ultimatum about intimacy, her voice cold enough to frost every inch of the room. Daniel, if you keep pushing, this will be the last time I ever. She didn't finish. She didn't need to. I'd heard versions of that threat too many times to count. But this time, something inside me didn't crack. It settled. I just exhaled slowly and gave a small, steady smile. The kind a man makes only after years of swallowing hurt. All right, I murmured. I'm fine without it. It wasn't defiance. It wasn't ego. It was self-preservation. The only thing left to cling to in a marriage where connection had dried up drop by drop. Claire hadn't always been distant. She used to be vibrant, affectionate, alive. But over the years, the warmth faded into routine disinterest. Like she was going through life on autopilot. And our relationship was just another background noise she learned to ignore. I had tried. God had I tried. Touches, surprises, deep conversations, dinners out, staying up late, hoping something, anything, would spark. But the answer was always a tired sigh, a shrug. A glance past me as if her attention floated anywhere but toward us. The night it all shifted wasn't dramatic. A quiet evening at home. Nothing extraordinary. I walked toward her, hoping for a moment of closeness. Some small reminder that we were still a couple and not just to names on the same mailbox. Instead, she gave me her warning. Sure, final. A line drawn in permanent ink. And for the first time, I did not try to step over it. For weeks before that night, I had been quietly drifting away, emotionally retreating. Not out of anger, but out of recognition. Something had died, and I was the only one who'd been mourning it. Once I stopped fighting reality, a strange sense of relief settled in. I stopped keeping track of the nights she turned away. Stopped noticing how many meals we ate in silence. Stopped trying to force affection from someone who kept it under lock and key. Instead, I put my energy into myself, my work, my friendships. The hobbies I had set aside because I was always trying to keep us afloat. I laughed more, smiled more, felt lighter, and Claire noticed. Suddenly, she watched me with a different expression, something like uncertainty. Are you really okay with this? She asked one night. I'm perfectly fine, I answered. And this time, it was the truth. Days passed. I stayed calm, distant, respectful, but detached. I didn't plead, didn't negotiate, didn't chase the connection she had already abandoned. That alone unraveled her. She had always depended on my persistence, on me being the one who patched the cracks. Apologized first, tried hardest, but I wasn't that man anymore. The shift unsettled her. Then came the moment everything flipped. I was out having dinner with Samantha, a coworker who respected my time and enjoyed my conversation. Nothing romantic, nothing inappropriate, just two adults sharing a meal and laughing at a joke. But Claire saw us from across the street, and in 1 second, the control she clung to evaporated. My phone erupted, message after message, each more frantic than the last. Then the calls. For weeks, she had dictated the emotional climate of our home. Now faced with the possibility that I had moved on. Emotionally, even if not romantically, she panicked. I didn't respond. Not immediately. I let the storm pass while I stayed steady and silent. Her final warning meant nothing now. You can't threaten someone with losing what they've already learned to live without. The next day, she approached me in person. Daniel, we need to talk, she said, trying to slip back into that familiar tone she used when she wanted to steer my emotions. I looked at her calmly. I'm listening. She talked in circles. Concern, frustration, confusion, all attempts to pull me back into the role I had played for years. But the hook no longer caught. I wasn't angry. I simply wasn't hers to manipulate anymore. And that terrified her. In her eyes, I finally saw it. The realization, the fear, the fragile cracks in her control. Nothing she said could shift me because I had found something she didn't expect. Peace without her approval. That night, I met with Samantha again. We walked through the quiet streets after dinner, talking easily, laughing at things that felt light instead of heavy. For the first time in years, I felt present in my own life. Not tethered, not guilty, not waiting. Claire saw it, too. The glow, the ease, the freedom. By the end of the week, the messages stopped. No more checking, no more guilt-laced questions, no more frantic energy. She finally understood. Her power only existed when I needed something from her. I didn't anymore. I wasn't punishing her. I was simply living without chains, without begging, without waiting for affection that never came. Sometimes strength is quiet. Sometimes the loudest victory is the one spoken with stillness. Her final warning lost all meaning the moment I realized the truth. I never needed her permission to feel whole. And in that realization, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: freedom. I didn't need the warning. I didn't need the approval. I didn't need the intimacy she dangled like a prize. I had my self-worth back, and that was more intimate than anything she could ever offer.